the 37mm lens is like only this arc. So I'm going to go to f4 here, put the shadows in focus. Or maybe f8, coming down with the shutter speed. So it's just this, like somewhere like this. That's the frame I was trying to take. Let's see if we can use this L. Yeah, that was some good abstract stuff. We'll get here. We have more swings and the possibility to get the same shot without the tree shadow, like this one. I'm going to go to f1.8, increase the shutter. I was trying to shoot most of the stuff within the shutter speed of 4000 because Leica just released its monochrome camera, Leica M10 monochrome and 6376 model, and that has only 4000 as their max shutter speed. So if I'm going to upgrade sometime in my life, gotta get used to shoot under the 4000 shutter speed. Why can't I try to put that in the horizontal frame? I'm gonna have to go to f2 or f2.8 here. That's the maximum height I could go, and for safety I'll take a shot at the f16 as well, keeping everything in tactile shot. So that's the left hand side. Part of this I can't shoot from here because I might fall in this frame, but I'll try to take whatever possible from here. So guys, this is some interesting height. I've shot one such frame in Talai Malai. By the time you guys see this video, Talai Malai that video might have been released. I'm shooting this one in January of 2020. I'm planning to release the Talai Malai video by by March. So you'll get to see that video, and this one I don't know, probably come after 6 or 7 months later from the day I'm shooting it. So guys, that's what the left hand side and the right hand side of the railway museum, which is the outside of left and right. I'm not sure if it is how to get there. I want to inquire people and get inside the museum. Alright, this is a big sign of stop. That kind of makes me wonder, oh my god, how do I get into the railway museum? Just keeping the building in bottom of the frame. We'll take the stop sign at f1.8 for a reference. Oh, it was fine. Good. Guess we might have to cross this road and get inside the building, alright? So, first thing we will get into the... Oh, these are the tracks, by the way, built for this small locomotive, probably the narrow gauge. Or this one seems like narrow gauge or a meter gauge, I'm not sure. This one gotta be a narrow gauge. So we are inside here. We have some permanently painted some rangoli. We call it as kolam in Tamil language. So this is one of the first models actually. Mysore Railways Dennis Brothers Limited, 1931. And probably this is diesel. Hope you guys know, like, most of the diesel engines are 4-stroke, and it was Mr. Hugo who designed a 2-stroke diesel engine, and that too, like, on an request. So I've taken a photograph of this. I'll put them on display for you guys to read it. By the way, it reads like mobile fire engine. So this is a fire engine that you see over here, and it has some leaf springs. Don't see the traditional coil springs on this. These are well built, you know, like these are like really well built. Damn, might be way too heavy. You could crack all the coconuts by running this over. That's the Mysore Railways fire engine supplied by Dennis Brothers Limited, 1931. Hope you guys had a good look. I was very close, by the way. I wasn't checking the monitor of the GoPro. Anyways, the battery is going to die in a few minutes. We'll switch over to a new battery. So for now we'll get into the left hand side, wherein you'll find all the steam engine locomotive stuff, and we'll talk about that and take some photographs of certain parts of the steam engine locomotive. And by the way, when British government decides like we'll do some railways in India, they kind of started it in 1830, and by the time during 1830 it was all steam engines, and under Madras Presidency, which is Chennai today, the first ever train in India was launched between Red Hills to Chindadripet on 1837. So and that one was a steam engine, and it carried about 400 people. So what you see is inspection trolley. People who have seen all Mani Ratnam sir's movies, you know, in Trida Trida, you could find singer, actor, director Mr. SPB would be chasing the car which has the budget money, you know, like this is, he will be traveling in one of the inspection trolleys. This is kind of still the same, but it's automated. So it's running on a narrow gauge, I believe. Nice. And I'm not sure, probably I can take some reference shot of it. I don't know, like if I could get some fine art frame from this, probably I could use the wheels, you know. I'm using the wheels, putting the wheel in the center, keeping the track and the trolley lines, you know, and a wheel in circle, line and a circle. So probably that is the best 5-knot frame that I could get. There are some shadows here. I don't know if I can use it for any abstract. Nope, I'm not sure I could get one. So that was 1 hour of recording. We have probably 10 minutes of battery left. We are still on the outside of the railway museum. Oh yeah, we have some MG wagon diamond frame bogie. These are the wheels of the bogie, I mean the coaches. See how that is built to stay on the track that you see here. So these are the guides for the wheels to stick onto the track, and these are cement blocks which holds the tracks. And during cold days and summer days it might melt or expand, or it might even bend sometimes. So they will manage, calculate all those things and attach them to the cement blocks that you find. In olden days these cement blocks used to be woods actually. So this is the frame that holds the two wheels together. And what you find is the common coil spring that you will find everywhere. This is a coil spring, and this is the kind of spring you will find in pens actually, in refill pens, modern day pens. This is a coil spring. These are very strong spins, by the way, and you will find the same coil spring here. There you won't find any leaf springs used in this system. This is another bogie, probably this is broad gauge. All bogies in the sense like coaches. So complete system. You have the differential system. Oh, you don't have the differential system on trains, I'm sorry. Both of them are connected and they don't run at different speeds. The two wheels don't run at the different speeds. You will need different speeds only in the road, you know, like when the car has 4 wheels, and when they are turning, you know, the wheels on the outer circle and the inner circle have to spin at different speeds, so that the wheel on the inner circle turns slowly and the wheel on the outer circle turns much faster, so runs more. You will need differential gear system for that. Remember we saw one in the crane, the bevel gears, something like that, built into a small box. So we have some driving system. I believe this is also parts of the bogie I consider, and this one is also one such thing. So we have the steam locomotive engine specifications. I'm going to take a photograph. What? Damn, I accidentally recorded some video on my Fuji X Pro 2. Forgive me. I'll make sure I'll cut that off. So it's like 1 hour and 5 minutes on my GoPro. It might die anytime. So these are the coil springs. This type of same coil spring is in the small form factor, and it's kind of used in freelance skates as well. And what you see here is the different pattern of leaf spring. The leaf spring, that one over there. Leaf spring is nothing but a sheet of metal, you know, in strips, cylindrical, rectangular strips, bent like this and stacked upon. You know, like arc always can take a heavy load, you know. So that's the principle they are using it. That's why you can find arches in the buildings wherein it can take a lot of point loads. You know, it's distributed across the arc and it can take a lot of weight. So that's the same principle that is being used over here on the leaf springs. You know, it can take a lot of weight and vibrations as well. So that's what here. This is the steam engine locomotive. So what I will do right now is, like, I will shut off the GoPro, change my battery and come back. Peace out. So guys, looks like I have some 24% of battery. I'm going to shift to F16 on my phone, camera. And I like that cloud. I'm trying to include the building and take that cloud, and I believe I can include them in the widescreen crop. You know, what I could see with 37mm lens, there's like this part of the building, just the places where my fingers is running through, and that cloud. Hope I can include that, otherwise I'll just have the cloud. I like the cloud, and I had a little bit of that branch as well, so I'm gonna have just the cloud for my reference, and then try the various aspects of including it along with the building. I'll try to include this one as well. So it was a good shot. I'm trying to center myself for the clouds, but I couldn't place the branches properly accordingly. This is the most satisfying shot in this entire episode for me. I could say that right now because I'm damn sure of what I'm going to get in the post. So we have 24%. We'll try to finish this trains, this steam locomotive as fast as possible. So this is the front side of the steam locomotive. We'll get to the side. So again we have something. I'll take a photograph so that you guys can read it later. So this reads a steam engine watering column, alright, 1958. So 1958, when I say 1958, it's like from 1930, like between 1830 to 1930 was the golden era for steam engines, and after 1930, all steam engines are getting upgraded with the diesel engines, So this is the other part of the steam engine. I'll try to explain the entire steam engine working system, and meanwhile I'll try to find a frame where I can photograph this steam engine as well. I'll try to explain this as fast as I could. And so this is the back side of the steam engine, and this is the other side of the steam engine. Alright, we'll try to get into the car as well. I'll show you what is what. So first, this is where you hook the bogies and coaches to it with the hook that you saw there, something similar to it. So looks like this is broad gauge or something. I'm not sure if I'm wrong. Kindly forgive me if I was wrong. Probably meter gauge. I think this got to be broad gauge, I believe. Forgive me. Just messing with you. So yes, let's take the steam engine from this side. Alright, so what do you have here? This blue thing, this is the water tank. Okay, it has complete water tank inside, and you have the several hundred pipes which is running inside the water tank. Alright, that pipe is connected to this over here. What you see here is the engine, and the lower part that's there is where you drop in all the coal, you know, for the water to heat up. So I'm going to place the camera for a second. I'm going to climb on the bogie and explain it to you a little bit before I take any photographs. So this is where they feed in the coal, alright? So there will be two people in this car. One guy is the engine driver, he is also called as the engineer, where he uses to drive the engine left and right and something, you know, by looking through this. Okay, and there will be another guy who is feeding in all the coal inside this, alright? So there will be two people, and there will be an extension to this car which is called tenda, wherein they store all the coal and everything. And you see this pipe, probably this is where from which they load all the water to the steam engine that they require. And I absolutely have zero knowledge on whatever the operating mechanism of this engine. I am an average student of mechanical engineering, so kindly forgive me. Probably Dr. Sheldon Cooper must have helped you with this, you know. So this is the driving mechanism of everything, all the engine stuff. So you have two people inside, alright? Since we are running out of battery, we're going to run through this little faster. So I need to be a little careful. Oh, the skaters would know I am a big size rider, so it's really hard for me. So these are the wheels, okay, connected with all the levers to operate and everything, and this part of the engine contains the piston. Okay, that part, blue part, is the water with all the pipes running inside from the coal. You know, they get heated and it converts few part of the water into steam, and that steam is getting stored on that chamber. Okay, that is where the steam would get released from, and this part, if there is some excess pressure, it will release that steam. So from there the steam is pushed into the piston. The piston will have a valve onto this here, like this, you know. So what it will do is, like, it will move and it will intake the steam, which will move this piston to the left side, by which it will move the wheel by half rotation. Okay, so when the wheel moves little forward, completing the full rotation, the piston will move forward and it will push all the old steam outside, and the old steam is getting stored here and it will be released whenever that is required. So how will the second half of the rotation happen? That's also because of the steam. So remember, the valve moves this way and the the steam comes in, pushes this piston this way, right? That's where this half of the rotation happens. So once the valve is on that side, the steam flows onto the left hand side of the valve. The valve again moves to that side, which makes way for the piston, for the steam to get into the other side of the piston, and which pushes the piston to the forward, back to the original position, by which exiting the old steam and giving way for the new steam to come in. So by which the wheels were on this side of making half rotation, now it will complete a full rotation. So by this way the entire steam engine will run like. So as you can see, the valve moves only on these two directions and the piston moves on these two directions, and for one movement from one end of the piston chamber to the other end, it moves the crankshaft and the wheel rotates half. So when it moves from backward to forward, the wheel rotates on to the other half. So in two strokes, like this way and this way, one forward and backward motion, for one forward and backward motion, the engine generates power. So this is a two-stroke steam engine. I checked it on the internet. There were no 4-stroke steam engines available, so it's mostly like two-stroke steam engines, but people have converted 4-stroke diesel engine into a steam engine. That we will save it for later for all automotive people, you know, like they could explain you much better than me, you know, like this is the half knowledge which I gained from the YouTube videos which I watched yesterday. So there is a crankshaft which is operating all these levers, you know. This is also part of the crank and everything. You could find leaf springs inside. See, those are leaf springs to take entire weight of the steam and stuff, you know. So whatever you find in the front, these wheels will keep the steam engine from you know, like derailed. This will also drive, and this part of the wheel will take most of the load of the steam engine, and this will also help from steam engine from derailing, I mean like to prevent derailing. Okay, so that is the entire functionality of the steam engine. Okay, so what I will try to do is like I'll try to change my GoPro battery for safety and come back and start shooting this steam engine. All right, and after finishing with the steam engine we'll get to the diesel engine. Peace out.